got some Rory and Mal and Joe Budden news. I reported this last week that there was a rumor out there that suggested that Rory and Mal was in collaborations with Kevin Durant's media group 35 and Venture. Well, that rumor became reality because they have a collaboration, a partnership with Kevin Durant's media group 35 and Venture. In other Rory and Mal news, they have created a YouTube channel. I left the link on last week's video to their channel. And they had an introductory video. It was like a comic skit of the job. I guess they're searching for a new job, and they had a lookalike or someone who pretended to be Joe Budden. I thought it was okay. It wasn't that funny. To me, it kind of reminded me of when Dr. Dre did the Dre Day video, and he had someone pretending to be Eazy-E and making fun and making fun and trolling a little bit of their dealings with Dre, of his dealings with Eazy-E. And it kind of reminded me of that. But nevertheless, you also have a lot of these quote unquote diehard Joe Budden fans who's been there since day one. Fans, followers, supporters, however y'all want to categorize yourselves. Now they're saying that they're, no longer supporting the Joe Budden podcast, and now they switch their allegiance to Rory and Mal. Okay. And before I get into my opinion about all of this latest news, I first like to state this. I felt like Rory and Mal, Joe Budden, all handled it the wrong way. I'm not saying Joe Budden's right. I'm not even saying Joe Budden's wrong. I'm not even saying Rory and Mal is right or wrong. I just feel like all three of these individuals handled it the wrong way, and they fumbled the bag. All three of them did. Okay? So all three of them. All right, so before I begin, I first like to state this. When I was talking about Rory and Mal's introductory video, and then I was talking about everything surrounding that, I stated a comment that I felt like Rory and Mal should have always had their own identity, had their own wave and their own IP. Okay. Instead of always being attached to Joe Budden, the Joe Budden podcast, I felt like they should have already established, at least created a YouTube channel. Now you're creating a YouTube channel when you're no longer members of the Joe Budden podcast. And to me, that's a red flag to me. If you're a true creator, if you're a true believer of independence, you should create your own image, your own independence. Okay, that's just a little red flag to me. I know a lot of people are going to critique what I just said, but hey, look, whatever. That's just my opinion. Secondly, I feel like Rory and Mal, to me, I feel like when there's a fallout, it doesn't matter if it's a relationship, a business relationship, whatever the case may be. I feel like there should be a moment where you tell your side of the story. There's two sides to every truth. Okay, there's no whole real truth. Okay, it's your version of the truth and the other person's version of the truth, and somewhere lies in the middle of the actual truth. Okay. And we're probably going to never know what happened between why they all broke up. Well, why Joe Budden fired Rory, and why Mal is switching his allegiance to Rory. We're never going to figure that thing out. We can all guesstimate what happened, but we were. None of us were in the building or in the room and really don't know what was actually said between all three of the individuals, okay? But I feel like there should be phases. You should be in different phases. One phase, you should be telling your side of the story. And then another phase is about detaching yourself from that negative energy and just simply moving on. Okay. Some people are intelligent enough who don't invest a lot of emotion, will just tell their side of the story and detach themselves from that situation and just simply move on. If that's your truth, you should be believing in your truth. All right. And you just move on. And I felt like with Rory and Mal, I feel like they're trying to promote their truth, but still utilize the bad energy between them and Joe Budden as a promotion to start something, to create something. And yeah, you're going to get a lot of buzz on social media. You're going to get a lot of people subscribing to your channel. And if you continue to talk about it, yeah, you're going to get a lot of views. But when the smoke is cleared and people have moved on, the majority of people have simply moved on from this story. Eventually, you're going to have to get back into the lab and get back to work on how to keep those subscribers entertained and how to keep those views, how to keep those views and create more views from your platform, from your podcast, from your YouTube channel. Okay. You just can't just keep making episodes talking about Joe Budden. Eventually, either you're going to move away, or either you're going to step away from that situation and start something new and fresh, or your fan base slowly but surely is going to stop watching or listening to you. Okay. I feel like Rory and Mal brings a lot of other different things that a lot of people are going to be interested in. Okay. I feel like Mal, he has an eye for fashion and he loves the sports world and sports entertainment. Okay. And I feel like Rory is passionate about business and social media. And I feel like those areas that was never covered on the Joe Budden podcast, because those Rory and Mal would, piggyback on what interests Joe Budden. Okay. Joe Budden is not a fan of sports. Okay. And he think he's smart as far as business, but I don't feel like he has passion in business. He has passion in creating content, but I don't think he's really that passionate or knowledgeable about business. Okay. So to me, I feel like I feel like Rory and Mal should be doing their own thing and starting creating their own new wave. Okay. And I feel like there's a lot of great things that Rory and Mal can bring to the table other than, talking about this Joe Budden drama. Drama fades. Okay. I've seen this happen so many times, even on YouTube. Okay. I've seen real successful YouTube podcasts have great chemistry, that has members that, have different thought patterns and different opinions. And they feel themselves a little bit too much when they read the comment section and they start thinking and start believing they're the star of the show because their fans are integrated into this podcast. And they're just, following along to what the fans are saying in the comments section. And I've seen so many podcasts and podcast members break up because of that. Okay. And it's never the same. When they break up and they branch out and do their own thing, the struggle is real. They don't never recreate what they had as far as the formula that they had all combined when they had their own podcast. Now, when they separate, they start reminiscing about, whoa, man, when I was at that podcast, we was doing X amount of numbers, was making X amount of money. And they're still talking about that podcast like they still a part of that podcast. okay? Because they're allowing their emotions and their egos, okay, to carry this on like that, like this is real beef, okay? And that podcast takes a takes a knockdown, okay? Um, I've seen this with so many other podcasts, and it's never the same. That podcast is never like it was years ago. That individual who left the podcast or who got fired from the podcast, that individual can't recreate what they had when they was on that particular podcast. Okay, so I have seen this. Eventually, people will gravitate to the drama, to the noise, because everybody loves smoke, everybody loves drama. But when the drama starts to fade, and then you have to start to reinvent yourself and create other things to talk about, those fans move on. Okay, they wasn't your real fans. They were just there for the drama. They were just there to hear what you had to say about a podcast you're no longer own, about your podcast members. And when you start branching out and doing your own thing, it's just not the same anymore. It just isn't. Okay, and I feel like Rory and Mal, only time's going to tell who is going to stay, who's going to stay in these streets, okay? Who's going to take a dip in subscribers? Who's going to take a dip in views? Other than that one podcast that Rory and Mal did, I thought it was pretty solid. It was pretty good. They was creating buzz and momentum and numbers, but can you do that on a consistent basis? That's the worry I have with Rory and Mal. And it seems like even though Joe Budden has took a dip in subscribers and in views, he's been pretty consistent. He's been pretty solid, and he seemed to moved on. All right. So that's what I'm trying to say. And I hope this video isn't long, but that's what I'm trying to say in a nutshell. People are going to gravitate to you, to the drama. But when you're no longer talking about the drama, are those same people still gravitating to you? Are those same people are supporting you? Are those same people watching your content? Only time's going to tell. But Rory and Mal, at least as far as business wise, is a positive step. It's a positive move. It's a great move for Rory and Mal. But how all this relates and how all this relates to how many subscribers you're going to have, how many views you're going to get, okay? How much money you're going to make with Kevin Durant and his media company, okay? How this is going to make them money. This situation is going to make you money, okay? How this situation is going to make you as a real serious creator of content. Okay, only time's going to tell. Like I said, I wish all three of them the best of luck, but I feel like at the end of the day, Rory, Mal, and Joe Budden, they're going to miss what they had. They're going to miss what they have, okay? Because I don't think Joe Budden is never going to get close to what he was 6 or 7 months ago. And I feel like Rory and Mal is never going to get to the point to what they had with the Joe Budden podcast. And they're all going to reminisce. They're not going to say it publicly, but privately, I feel like they already understand the blow that they just took. Okay, so that's all the Rory and Mal news I have. This is like, to me, there's really nothing left to talk about either of these three individuals. Only time gonna tell. I wish the best for both of them, but we're just gonna have to wait and see. Those quote unquote diehard subscribers, supporters, followers to both platforms, we're gonna have to wait and see. Do they still support these individuals? We're only time gonna tell. This is your boy. I'm up out of here, deuces.